how to use a pellet smoker. In today's video, we're going to cover what a pellet smoker is, how a pellet smoker works. We're going to give you some tips and tricks to help you get started. And if you stay to the end of this video, we will be doing a sample, easy, quick cook to show you how to use a pellet smoker. Hey guys, my name is Andrew and welcome to the Grill Sergeant YouTube channel. Around here you'll learn all things Texas style barbecue. So do consider subscribing if you are interested in learning how to do some backyard barbecue. Now I'm gonna take a guess that you're watching this video because you recently just got a pellet smoker, whether it was for Christmas, Father's Day, your birthday, or the rarest of them all, your wife gave you the green light to go out and get one.
Lucky.
So without wasting any more time, let's dive into what a pellet smoker is. Now, which one is the pellet smoker? And the answer is C. They are both pellet smokers. Pellet smokers come in either a vertical style or a horizontal style. Whatever make or model smoker you got, the information in this video is going to be universal. So what is a pellet smoker? A pellet smoker is a backyard tool to help you get barbecue using 100% hardwood pellets. Much like the oven in your house, you get to tell it what temperature you want it to run, and you get to pick what hardwood pellet you want it to use for its fuel. A pellet smoker can get broken down into 4 parts. You have a hopper, and the hopper is what stores all the hardwood pellets. These hardwood pellets are your fuel source for running the smoker. So without pellets, your smoker will not work. Now at the base of the hopper, you have an auger, and an auger's job is to deliver the pellets that are in the hopper and carry them all the way to the center of your smoker to the burn pot. Now the burn pot, that's where all your barbecue fire and smoke and goodness is going to come from. And then lastly, you are going to have your cooking chamber. And this is where the meat goes. All right, so where do you begin? The first thing you have to do is fill up your hopper with pellets. Now you might be thinking, Grill Sergeant, I can just go down to the store, get any bag of pellets, throw it in here and I'll be good, right? Wrong. Now you are correct. Any 100% hardwood pellet that is meant for cooking will go in this hopper and work, but the trick is knowing what wood to use for what you plan on smoking. The thing is, there are dozens of hardwoods out there, and each of them are going to deliver a unique flavor profile to your meat. So I started off using Pit Boss's competition blend. I used that mix for like a solid 2 years, and that helped me learn the basics and cover making barbecue. And then as I got advanced into it, I started using hardwoods and then mixing my own hardwoods till I found the right flavor that I was looking after. But a competition blend is a good pellet to start out with. Now, if you've never used your pellet smoker before, you have to do a thing called the smoker burnoff. That helps get all the packing and shipping residue that's on the inside of your smoker and burns that off. If you need to know how to do that, I will link a video up here and in the video description on how that's done. But in short, you pretty much have to turn your smoker on to about 400 degrees, let it run for an hour, then let it cool down, and then you will be up and running. But if you already done the burn off, as long as there is hardwood in here, you are good to go. All right, next you got to take the power cord that's coming from your pellet smoker and then plug that into a power outlet. Now you're going to go to your control board, and this is where you're going to turn your smoker on and set the temperature. Now a tip I like sharing is before I turn the smoker on, I like to empty out the burn pot and dump out the ash and put a few fresh pellets in. Thankfully with the Pit Boss here, I can actually reach underneath my smoker. That will drop the burn pot. I'm able to dump the contents. I'm able to put in some fresh pellets. And then without getting my hands dirty, I'm able to put the burn pot back. That way when she starts up, she actually starts up faster than if you just had turned it on. Now, last thing I do before I turn it on is I will open the lid, and once I actually see smoke and we get a fire going, then I can close the lid. So now what we're going to do is we are going to turn it on. You are going to have either a dial that is going to have preset temperatures, or if your smoker is newer, you're going to have a digital display and able to change the temperature either in 5-degree increments or in 10-degree increments. So right now she is heating up. Pellets that are in the hopper are slowly being fed through an auger into that burn pot. And then inside the burn pot is a heating element that is getting really, really hot. And that is what is going to start your initial fire through the heating element. Once you have a fire going, that heating element is done with its job. It will shut off, and then it will maintain the fire in the burn pot with the motor and the auger just dumping fresh pellets every so often. Generally, if you're smoking around 250 degrees, you're going to use about 1 pound of pellets per hour. I ain't even done talking yet, and we have got some beautiful barbecue smoke right behind me. So for fuel today, I'm going to be using mesquite. Now, once you see the fire dissipate, you can actually look down inside and you're going to see a nice roaring fire in the burn pot. Once you see that, you are good to close your smoker lid, and now we can adjust the temperatures. I am going to adjust the temperature to, let's do 275. And now it shows it's heating to 275. The internal temperature is currently at 154. There is a thing called smoke mode, and this we can actually change to P7. PID is going to give you very, very consistent internal temperatures, whereas smoke mode, the temperatures are going to fluctuate a lot more, but with that fluctuation, you're also going to get a lot more smoke produced. So now that this thing is heating up, let's go season our meat. All right, today we are going to be starting off with a beautiful tomahawk steak. As a rule of thumb, I try to find a steak that has a lot of inner muscular lines running through it, and that is fat. And the more fat you have in here, the more flavor you are going to get. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some paper towels and I'm going to pat the steak down. And now the steak is ready for seasoning. Now, a little tip and trick is 90% of backyard barbecue can get done with just salt and pepper. But where backyard barbecue gets to be fun is you get to experiment with different rubs and seasoning to find flavors that will take your taste buds through the roof. Today I'm going to be using Sucklebuster's 1836 beef rub. This has a ton of flavor in it, but it's also still going to let the natural beef flavor really shine through. So I'm going to pop this open here, and we are going to season both sides. I'm going to pat that seasoning in. We're going to flip it. Pat it in. And we do want to make sure we are getting all sides. Whoop. All right, let's get this onto the smoker. I'm going to lay it down right here. All right, now I'm going to take the barbecue probe that it came with. There is a hole on the side of the smoker that I'm going to pull this cable through. This helps it so when we actually close the lid, we are not going to actually hurt the cable itself. We are going to slide this probe into the center of the steak. And now we're going to close the lid. Now down here over at the control board, we are going to take that probe and we're going to plug it in. Now that's going to register the internal temperature of the steak, which is at 46 degrees right now. And today we're going to be doing what's known as a reverse sear, which means we're going to slowly bring up the temperature of the steak. It's going to absorb a lot of smoke. And then at the very end, we're going to give a nice sear to it, let it rest, and then carve in. So we're going to wait till this says an internal temperature of 115 degrees. That's pretty much the hard part, and now it's time to kick back, drink a cold one. Your smoker might actually have an app that you can use on your phone, and from there you can actually tell it to say, hey, when my steak hits 115, send me a message or an alert, and then you know when your next step is ready. One thing I do right before I relax is I'll actually go in, clean off the table, clean off the cutting board, and then I'll have a fresh cutting board that's ready to go right when I need to pull the steak before I turn up the temperature of the smoker. So I'll do that, but right now, for the next hour, sit next to the smoker and enjoy that mesquite smell. After you get steaks down, I do recommend leaping to trying ribs. Ribs are a awesome cook with only about 5 to 6 hours to actually do the ribs. I will link some videos on how to do ribs. And then after that, you can tackle the big dogs. You got pulled pork and you have brisket. Brisket was probably the most intimidating. And then once you get the hang of it, you're like, man, I got this. So let me know in the comment section, what smoker did you get? And we'll tune back in when this steak hits an internal temperature of 115 degrees. All right, we are about 10 degrees off from our internal temperature we want to hit. So at this time, I'm actually going to crank up this temperature as high as it can go, which is about 500 degrees. At this time, you are going to want to put on a glove liner that is going to protect our hand from the high heat. All right, that alarm is going off. It's showtime. Ooh. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the probe. All right, this is where the fun begins. I'm going to open up the sear plate right here. This is where all the high heat action is going to happen. And then I'm going to take this steak and place it right down here. And we're going to do about 1 minute per side. All right, now I'm going to flip it up. Beautiful. And press it right back down. It's been a minute. I'm going to close down the sear plate. And now we are going to pull the steak and let it rest. So the reason why you're going to want to wait about 10 minutes is that is helping the internal temperature actually still rise and come up to a perfect medium rare. If you like your steak cook longer, totally fine. You just got to increase the temperature on when you're actually going to sear it. Got my knife right here. Oh, and just look how much juice. We are in for a treat. So let's carve in. Oh man. Beauty. Man, look at that right there. Now I'm going to take some salt. Now to go in for my favorite part is the taste test. No steak from any restaurant can even come close. This is so good. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure after you pull the steak to shut down the smoker. Let it enter the shutdown cycle. Don't unplug it. It will turn off on its own. The smoker should turn off in about 20 minutes. That's going to take that raging fire that it has inside the burn pot and it's going to put it out. And now I get to go in and feed the family. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Grill Sergeant out. And look at that, just turned off.